All right, let's talk about a really weird financial thing that happens to a lot of us. Hitting your first $100,000 in net worth. You'd think it would feel like a huge deal, right? But for most people, it's surprisingly quiet. In fact, there's a good chance you might have already passed it and not even realized it. You know, we all have this picture in our heads. Reaching a big goal like that should feel like you're crossing a finish line in slow motion. You're expecting the confetti to fall, this huge wave of accomplishment to wash over you, that feeling that you finally, made it. But the reality, it's almost never like that. It's usually super subtle, a little anticlimactic, and like we said, you might have already done it. So let's get into it. Why does that big moment so often just slip right by us? Okay, so the first, and honestly the biggest reason, is that your net worth isn't some fixed number you can just check. It's a moving target all the time, which makes it incredibly tough to pin down on any given day. And just so we're all on the same page, let's do a quick refresher. Your net worth is pretty simple on paper, right? It's just the value of everything you own, your assets, minus everything you owe, your liabilities. But in the real world, it gets a lot messier. And here's where it gets messy. If you're investing, you probably have a few different accounts going. You've got your 401k, maybe an IRA, a regular brokerage account, and all of them are changing value every single day the market is open. Stocks go up, they dip down, dividends are quietly getting reinvested in the background. It's literally a constant financial dance. So let's just imagine a scenario. You check your accounts on a Monday morning, you add everything up, and your total net worth is $98,500. So close, but not quite there yet. But then Tuesday happens, and the market has a pretty good day. You didn't do a single thing, but your investments grew, and poof, suddenly you've crossed the line. You're at $101,000. But did you even notice? Probably not. You were busy at work, living your life. And then on Wednesday, maybe the market cools off a little bit. And just like that, you're back under the line. The crazy thing is, you can actually cross this milestone over and over again without ever consciously knowing it happened. So thinking of your net worth as a race with a clear finish line is probably the wrong way to look at it. It's much more like a tide, It comes in, it goes out. It's just always in motion. But it's not just the market's daily swings that make us miss this milestone. A huge part of it is that most of us just aren't counting everything we actually own. We have valuable assets basically hiding in plain sight. We tend to get hyper-focused on our investment accounts and the cash in our savings. But just look at this chart. For a lot of people, home equity and personal property make up a massive chunk of their actual net worth. In this example, it's almost half. And when we say personal property, what are we even talking about? Well, it's the stuff you use every day. Your car, even if it's a few years old, has real value. Your couch, your laptop, your phone, that bike in the garage. Individually, they might not seem like a big deal, but when you add them all up, you're easily looking at thousands of dollars that most of us just never think to include. And that brings us to the biggest hidden asset for so many people, their home equity. It's often the single largest part of their net worth. But here's the catch. Unlike a stock price you can look up in a second, its exact value is really hard to nail down. Those online estimates, they can be way off. The true value is only what someone would pay for it, and that's always a bit of a mystery. This whole thing leads us right into our next point. These common myths and honestly just simple misunderstandings that cause people to artificially shrink their own net worth number. It makes those big milestones seem way further off than they actually are. Okay, here's a huge one. You hear this all the time. Oh, I don't count my house because it's not cash. But see, that's mixing up the idea of net worth with liquidity. Net worth is the value of all your assets, period. It doesn't matter if you can sell them tomorrow or not. By the official definition, your house and your car absolutely count. And here's another classic mistake. People try to guess the future taxes on their retirement accounts. They'll look at their 401k balance, and in their head, they'll chop off 20 or 30% for taxes. But think about it. Your future tax rate is a total unknown. It depends on future tax laws, what your income will be, where you'll be living, stuff you just can't predict. So the standard way to do it is simple. You count the raw pre-tax value today. The taxes are a problem for another day. Okay, so we've figured out why it's so easy to miss this milestone. But why does it even matter? Why should we bother to acknowledge a number that's always changing anyway? Well, because it's about so much more than just the number itself. Reaching that first 100 grand isn't about winning some kind of race. It's proof. It is solid, tangible evidence that your habits, your discipline, and your whole financial strategy are actually working. Seriously, think about everything that number represents. It stands for years of being disciplined and consistent. It's the magic of compounding finally starting to kick in and do the heavy lifting. It's proof that you've built a really solid financial foundation. And now you have real momentum to grow even faster. You know, everyone says the first 100,000 is the hardest, and it's absolutely true. It's a grind. But once you've laid that foundation, those future milestones, they start to feel less like a dream and more like an actual plan. That first big number gives you the psychological boost to aim for the next level, and the one after that, as that compounding snowball really starts to pick up speed. Look, when progress feels slow or even invisible, it's so easy to get discouraged and feel like you're just stuck. Taking a moment to acknowledge a milestone, even if you notice it a little late, is this powerful reminder that all those slow, steady, and sometimes really boring choices you're making, they are adding up to something real. So here's the bottom line. That first $100,000, it might not show up with a parade and a marching band, but it was not an accident. It represents your patience and your smart decisions. You didn't just stumble into it, you built it. And that is a milestone that is absolutely worth pausing to acknowledge.